Hello and welcome FPL managers and welcome to Ghana Football Fantasy powered by Fantasy Football Scout, and we are back with the zonal weakness while the Arsenal and Chelsea match is ongoing. So this is something that you need to take into consideration before we get into the tables, because some of the stats are not really well updated, particularly Chelsea and Arsenal, because we are not taking those data in, given the fact that the deadline is only on Tuesday, and we wanted to get something out as soon as possible with the available data that we had. So only for those two matches the data is not really updated, so a little bit of data skewed here in terms of where the positionings are, but the rest of the data is kind of already captured and kind of positioned. And at this moment, without the Arsenal and the Chelsea data, this is how the table looks like, but we'll get into that a little bit. But welcome again to the zonal weakness for game week 29. And if you haven't followed, liked, or subscribed to our channel, please do so now, because we are producing regular content even during the Ramadan. Of course, it's a little bit slower, but nonetheless, we are continuously providing a stream of content on a regular basis to keep you updated and to ensure that we are there, and the most well-informed and evidence-based data are there for you to analyze and to make a decision for your own team. Right, so all the data that you see are taken from the Fantasy Football Scout members area, and yeah, if you're interested in the membership, including the zonal data, then please do click in the link in the description below, and you'll get a 5% discount with use the code FFSGHONO, and yeah, that would give you a 5% discount as well. So let's move on to the table. And again, I just want to reiterate the fact that the data that you see here are mostly updated, except the Chelsea versus Arsenal match, because which is currently ongoing. And given that the deadline is on Tuesday, we wanted to get something out. So the table might not really be well structured completely beside this one particular match, but other data have already been incorporated. But again, it allows you to at least, to some extent comprehend and analyze and still take the decision that you think would be very suitable for your own team. So here we are, and starting the first match, of course, it's Wolves versus Liverpool. Now, Liverpool has really convincingly won this week, as you have seen, and they are now following up with Wolves, who happen to have some sort of a resurgence, of course. So obviously, it looks like they are going down the relegation battle or going to get relegated, but it's not without a fight. So this is not going to be a complete walk in the park for Liverpool. And as you can see, still the potential for Liverpool to score remains, as the zonal table highlights. As you can see that Wolves have actually considered 29 chances from the right flank and 20 chances from the center, where they're ranked for worst and third worst respectively. This is where Gakpo, who was there in the scoring, and Ekitike as well, who scored in the last week as well, or at least the current game week. And yeah, so they could be again in the mix to provide some more points for FPL managers. Van Dijk was also one of the scorers, and he looks like there could be another chance for him to put his name in the score sheet, given the fact that Wolves have actually conceded 20 headed conceded chances and are ranked fourth. So something that you need to keep an eye on. Moving on to the next fixture, which is Bournemouth versus Brentford, and of course Thiago was the one who scored. Shada was also scored. Dango was the one who provided the assist. Damsgaard was also among the scorer, and it looks like all three of them, or all four of them, are actually proving to be a very good asset at this moment, even while they are facing Bournemouth. Shada is slightly outside our top five worst perimeter, and that's why he's kind of not colored. But as you can see, the 20 chances considered down the right flank, that are ranked sixth, whereas Thiago and Damsgaard, they'll be occupying the center position. This is where Bournemouth have considered 19 chances and are ranked fifth. But Odango and of course Coyote looks to be the one who could be the one again in the score sheet, given that 28 chances been conceded by Bournemouth on the left flank and are ranked third. So Odango continuously seems to be one of the midfield point picks that we need to highlight, along with Harry Wilson. So there's a bit of an decision to be made for FPL managers as to which one they would like to go. I have particularly gone for Odango, and I think he has rewarded. In terms of the header chances, again, Thiago seems to be standing out given the fact that Bournemouth have considered 18 headed chances and are ranked fifth. Crosses again, Shada could be again in the in terms of providing an assist with 62 crosses being conceded by Bournemouth from the right flank. So again, this is another good opportunity. Moving on to the next match, which is Nottingham Forest versus Manchester City. I know Haaland was rested, and Nouri and O'Reilly kind of occupied that position. O'Reilly was more up front, playing as the left winger. Um, Nouri was more as the fullback. But again, the one that really stands out is Semenyo, who scored the only goal against Leeds. Some of you have captain, so well done. But again, it looks like another good match for Semenyo, particularly Nottingham Forest's weakness down the left flank. That's where he's going to occupy, where they have conceded 30 chances and are ranked the worst side in terms of the left flank chances conceded. Haaland is looking to be back in the squad again, hopefully. Now, without the pre-match or the post pre-match press conferences, we are not quite sure exactly what was the reason for his absentee. But if everything goes well, he should be back. And if he is back, then header chances conceded could be another area where he could do well with 27 header chances conceded by Nottingham Forest, where they are ranked worst as well. Moving on to the next fixture, which is Burnley versus Everton. And really, the first one I would like to talk about is the left flank of Burnley, where they have considered 30 chances and are ranked the worst, where McNeil and Garner is likely to occupy. Now, not really our FPL favorite, but again, this is something that you need to keep an eye on. 27 chances again from the right flank, where they are ranked second worst. NDIA and Armstrong is likely to occupy. Barry, KDH, and Beto could be in the score sheet, but not really up there as a promising asset. But it also falls outside our top worst five perimeter, so we have not really colored. But again, this could be an interesting outing for Everton and Burnley as well. Everton on the other side looks to be a little bit vulnerable down the center, where they have considered 19 chances and are ranked fifth worst, where Fleming is going to occupy from Burnley. And I think this is a good opportunity for him. Edwards as well, down the left flank, slightly outside the perimeter again, 4 hours, ranked seventh. So, yeah, not much. I would assume this would be a very low scoring match, but again, Everton could run away with it and Burnley could make a comeback again. But yeah, the only option that really looks strong is Fleming from Burnley, who's likely to score. And I know a lot of us don't have the Burnley assets anyway, so let's not really dwell much into it. Newcastle versus Manchester United. Manchester United is flying high, now moved up to the third rank. Bruno Fernandes providing a goal and assist this week, but again looks like promising asset for the next week, along with Mbeumo and Sesko down the center, where the 18 chances have been considered by Newcastle and they're ranked 8th. But again, Ahmad and Dalot. But again, Mbeumo could, if Ahmad is on the bench and Sesko plays as the lone striker, then Mbeumo could be occupying this particular spot, where they have actually considered 20 chances and are ranked 7th. So this is another, not much really for Cunha in this particular match, where 17 chances have been considered. So I wouldn't really touch upon it. But again, if you have him, play him, please. But I think the opportunity really lies with Mbeumo, Fernandes, and Sesko right now for the match against Newcastle. Aston Villa versus Chelsea, and I think not much really to talk about beside the center and the left flank for Chelsea. Aston Villa, where they've shown a little bit of weakness, not really colored, but as you can see, 18 chances considered down by the center for Aston Villa and 20 chances considered down the center, the left flank for Aston Villa. So Palmer and João Pedro and Delap and James could do well. Now they are already playing against Arsenal, so this is going to be a good match even after that. So their Chelsea's chances of finishing in the top 4 really hinges on these two particular fixtures. Any good outcome would actually give them a little bit of confidence towards the end of the season. So that makes it a little bit more interesting. And Aston Villa would like to actually keep their winning streak, given the fact they lost to Wolves this week and are now moved down to the 4th position. So yeah, the graph for the Champions League position is really up there, and I think both Chelsea and Aston Villa would really battle it out. So not much really to discuss beside that, except some of the assets that you can already see on the table, kind of standing out. Brighton versus Arsenal, and I wouldn't really touch upon much except the left flank, where Brighton have shown a little bit of vulnerability with 23 chances considered down the left flank, where they're ranked fourth. So Saka could really do well, um, in terms of providing an assist or even scoring a goal by cutting in. But yeah, Timber is also looking like a possibility as well. Moving on to the next slide, and there's a little bit of more green than usually we tend to see on the second slide. So I'm going to quickly touch upon some of the matches, not all of it, but you can pause and you can really do your own analysis, have a look at it clearly and see as to which one suits you, and you can do your own analysis as it. But let me get started with Tottenham versus Crystal Palace. Tottenham really lost to Fulham today, and that's a problem. So Fulham seems to be really doing well. Um, and in this particular fixtures, what we clearly see is Tottenham's weakness down the right and the center, where 21 chances and 27 chances have been conceded, and yeah, ranked fifth and ranked worst respectively. So Pino and Ismail Assar could really do well. So those of you who have shown faith in Ismail Assar, sorry for that, but yeah, should play him in this particular match as well. Um, Fulham versus Tottenham, and again, not really much for Tottenham really, except the down the center, where Fulham seems to be a little bit weaker. 20 chances considered, ranked third, where Tati and Mathis Fernandez was playing. But Bowen again looks to be another one who could do well in this particular fixture, given the weaknesses of Fulham down the left flank, where he's going to occupy 23 chances considered and ranked fourth. So Bowen again could be sort of an asset that could do well, really. And yeah, moving on to the West Ham one, I'm really not going to touch upon too much here against Fulham, but Jimenez is the only one that I would like to shout, given 21 chances being conceded by Fulham, where Jimenez is going to play. So that's something that we need to keep an eye on. Um, Moving on to the Chelsea versus Aston Villa, and as you can see, Chelsea seems to be weak down the center in terms of the headed conceded, particularly with 18 chances, 18 headed conceded already, and ranked fifth. So Watkins could do well. But I think what's really interesting is that Man United's crosses have been a little bit weaker. And as you can see, they have conceded 63 crosses from the left and 69 crosses from the right, ranked second and third respectively. And that's where Barnes and Hall and Elling and Trippier is going to occupy that. So do expect a number of crosses to come in where the Newcastle assets could actually capitalize. But it looks more like a match for Barnes and Hall rather than for anyone else, to be honest, for against Manchester United. The last fixture that I want to focus is Leeds versus Sunderland, and I think what you can see is Leeds' vulnerability down the right flank and the centre. 24 chances conceded, ranked fourth down the right, and 19 chances conceded and ranked fifth down the centre, where Lefebvre again could be among the scorers here or put his name in the score sheet, and Maenda and Diarra are there as well to occupy the. Ballard is again another interesting option in terms of the headed conceded, but I think in terms of the crosses as well, Sunderland Leeds look a little bit vulnerable. So do expect Leafy. If you have Lefy, I think you could just play him in this particular match. Nothing much really stands out for Leeds against Sunderland, because Sunderland doesn't really show a lot of vulnerability down any of the zones that we can see, except in terms of the crosses over on the right flank, where 63 crosses have been conceded by Sunderland and are ranked second. So this is where you could expect Leeds to perhaps capitalize, but I'm not really expecting too much of it. And honestly, my prediction doesn't really matter, but I think Sunderland could emerge as one of the victorious team here. Right, moving on to the next one, which is the team of the week, and this is the last section that we have. And as you can see, it's Ekitike, obviously for the right reasons, and Thiago is there holding the two striker position for us. NDIA, Damsgaard, Szoboszlai, Saka, and Semenyo rightly making it, given their ranks in the zonal table as we have seen previously. So I think it's a good mixed balance. I wouldn't really get NDIA out there, but again, the zonal indicates so, and this is a team that is based on the zonal weakness only. So we'll have to put the player that kind of already stands out in the zonal table. O'Reilly, Virgil, and Timber again likely to do well in terms of the weaknesses from the left and also down the center in terms of the headed conceded, but also the weaknesses down the right flank where these three defenders are going to occupy. So it's a good balance, I think, with the Liverpool, three Liverpool up front, two from Brentford and one from Arsenal, two from Arsenal, and of course two from City and one from Everton, making the team squad. And of course, we have gone for Donnarumma as the goalkeeper. I think that's that. So thank you so much for joining, and we're not quite sure whether 29 Game Week 30 will be able to be back, but we'll keep you updated. But until then, enjoy this game week, which is the last match going on right now, and it's about to come to an end. It's pretty interesting. Enjoy the rest of the game week, and good luck to the game week. Good luck for the game week coming up. And until then, all the very best. See you. Bye bye.